Hi, I'm Connie Marsh. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today to go over our new nonprofit, the Innocence Foundation, based right here in Oregon. I started this organization primarily to get the word out about my husband's case, but it has evolved into a way to help others who are experiencing similar legal challenges. Our mission is twofold. First, we educate, support, and equip victims of wrongful incarceration by identifying, investigating, and overturning wrongful convictions. Secondly, we seek to prevent wrongful convictions through public education. We envision a day when only guilty people are incarcerated. Imagine what it will be like when, in the very rare event that someone's conviction is found to lack integrity, they will have a venue for promptly making it right, instead of meeting only roadblocks by a system in denial. Now, some may still wonder if we're absolutely necessary. I mean, isn't there already an Innocence Project in every state? The short answer is yes. However, these deal primarily with cases involving DNA, and because they are inundated with requests, they must triage applications to mitigate the more serious ones first. Meaning, if you have two innocent people serving time for murder, the Innocence Project will focus on the case where one is facing execution. While it's true that in doing so they save lives, many lives are also overlooked in this process. There are innocent people in prison now who will never be vindicated, perhaps never released, but will perish by natural causes, murder, medical neglect, or even suicide. As you can see, the Innocence Foundation will save lives and reunite loved ones without solely focusing on extreme cases involving DNA. We believe that every innocent person deserves a voice, a means for efficiently correcting their verdict, which is so sadly lacking right now. This will be our first campaign message that every wrongfully convicted person deserves a voice. Further, just as there are many fine organizations that address world hunger through a variety of ways and in different geographic locations, there's not only plenty of room in this field of endeavor for us, but there exists a huge vacuum. The number one thing that I hear from people who reach out to us is, the Innocence Project never called me back. Whereas our goal is to return each email or phone call within 48 hours. Now, don't misunderstand. I am a tremendous longtime supporter of the Innocence Project, but they need help, and we need to partner with them to as great a degree as possible. You'll notice that our logo is designed simply. It conveys what we do, but it needs to be slightly modified to convey where we do it. Right now, we're taking desperate calls from all over the country. So we intend to add a thin blue outline of Oregon behind our logo for now. And as we branch into other states, we can simply replace each state outline excuse me, as needed, so that supporters or clients in other areas can tell at a glance if they are connecting with the appropriate jurisdiction. Two, this will keep our logo uniform and thus recognizable nationwide. It's important for us to gain public credibility as having expertise in this field of thought, and that's why I decided to obtain my master's degree in restorative justice, which I will conclude through Vermont Law and Graduate School this summer. To share what I've learned, my communications director and I are working on creating a YouTube channel with a series of topics designed to introduce and develop various concepts such as justice reform and even prison reform. This will be our biggest educational tool. We are also working on a Facebook page, so we will be able to communicate in real time. We'll use it for such things as announcing our goals, campaigns, victories, and fundraising events, as well as engaging in conversation, listening to our supporters, or even conducting online surveys. YouTube and Facebook dominate social media, which is why we will begin with them. Plus, they are used by a younger demographic who are known to support more progressive causes like ours. We will use these mediums to drive people to our website, innocencefoundation.org, where we will provide additional educational documentation and where we can more easily close them on volunteer and donation opportunities. The Innocence Foundation is registered with the IRS as a 501c3 corporation, and as such, it is registered with the state of Oregon's Secretary of State and the Department of Justice as well. Our staff works hard to maintain proper compliance with these regulatory agencies with the utmost of integrity. Federal grants for organizations such as ours can be challenging. The government doesn't seem quite ready to acknowledge the role of rampant official misconduct in cases lacking integrity. That's why our private supporters like you are so key. I've already begun to schedule speaking engagements around Oregon to educate civic-minded community leaders through various chambers of commerce. They are always seeking guest speakers, and I can accommodate. Let's talk about the media. Philip L. Graham described journalists, and rightly so, as providing the first draft of history. Unfortunately, not all of them take this responsibility seriously enough. As hot a topic as wrongful convictions have become of late, many traditional media, such as newspapers, decline to report any perspectives other than sound bites regurgitated from their local DA's office. Even though my husband's case was mentioned in the Chicago Tribune, the Daily Herald, Eugene's Register Guard, and the Oregonian, not to mention others, incredulously, none of the reporters would take a statement from me for years. If you were to comb through the archives of my husband's case on the media, and please don't because it's crazy making, you'd find mountains of factual and misleading errors. Instead of correcting original charges and erroneous statements, it appears that they've deleted most of the articles, leaving only the original, most sensational, and inaccurate ones online. Once again, this is so important why we need our website to counter false information. On the cases page, you'll find various documents that let you know and the public know what my husband's jury never did. Finally, and only after my husband's convictions were vacated a year ago, did the editor of the Clackamas Review return my call and run a favorable article about our family last summer. As a result, we're on a texting basis. I've given him exclusive rights to interviews as my husband's next trial looms for July. As we wrap this up, I understand that most people would prefer to believe that wrongful convictions are rare. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Some studies estimate that upwards to 10% of all convictions are factually in error. This represents over 100,000 people across this country who are incarcerated unjustly. At an average of 20 years apiece, that's 2 million costly years being stolen from America's citizens while true perpetrators remain at large in our communities. We can do better. We must do better. Thank you for your support. I would also like to invite you to visit our website and also to watch for our book coming out next year. Thank you again so much for your time today. Thank you.